All right, perfect. We are live.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's wait for a few minutes. And in the meanwhile, let me share this with our audience that we are live. All right, perfect. So, guys, as you're joining us here on YouTube, make sure that you introduce yourself in the comment box. Let us know from which part of the world you're tuning in, and we welcome you all into this another powerful, amazing, and wonderful session, the episode number 4 in our The U-Turn Show. Shekhar, would you love to tell them what this U-Turn is all about? Because I know some of them might be watching it for the first time. So
Okay.
brief them a few minutes about that. In the meanwhile, I'll just,
Okay.
share with more people. Over to you, Shaker.
The U-Turn is our brand new show over here at the Human Potential and Growth. We came up with this show. Earlier, we were doing the free coaching hour, but then Sukhveer and I thought that, we should get out of this, the free coaching hour, and introduce something new, which will create a real deep impact upon people. And that's how Sukhveer came up with the name, the U-Turn. And then we decided how we are going to create content for each and every week, free, absolutely free for you, so that you can come every week, learn something that's going to cause a change in your consciousness, and then exactly we will teach you how to take the U-turn in your life. If you have been living with your old belief patterns and they are not bringing about anything that you want, if they are not productive, then join into our show every single Thursday at 8 p.m. live. We come live and we teach a lot of amazing stuffs out over here regarding the universal mind, the universal laws. And every week, I promise you, Sukhveer and I will give you enough information which you can take and practice for a week. And within a week, you can see a substantial change in your mindset. So this is exactly what the U-turn is about. Wherever you are in your life right now, if you think you've had enough of it, if you want to stop everything and you want to go ahead and manifest the kind of life that you want to live, join us in the U-Turn live every Thursday, 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time. We will discuss some of the most powerful topics in personal development. And then towards the end of the show, we are going to show you how to take the U-turn in your life to change everything for the better.
Absolutely. As we were discussing that U-turn, like Shekhar, I was studying that, the chapter we have today for discussion. And there is something that comes to my mind. I was thinking very seriously about it. And I thought that this is, in my understanding, the law that we're going to cover today. It is you can call it that it's the trick to win in life. It doesn't matter whatever you're doing. You can be a salesperson, you can be a business owner, you can be a scientist, you can be a doctor, you can be a lawyer, you can be a philosopher, you can be an engineer, you can be anybody on this planet, anywhere in the world, doing anything. But if you understand the simplicity and the truth behind today's law, your whole life can take actually a U turn. And the topic and the lesson for today is the law of obedience. Since childhood, like we have learned a lot of laws. We have learned laws in the science. We have learned lessons from our parents, from our principals, from our teachers, and they all say that you must obey. You must pay obedience to your beliefs, the beliefs that you have. And the one thing that I have observed by working with people, by working on myself, that we pay more obedience to the things we can see outside and let it influence our thinking, and we don't pay that much obedience to the spirit that is inside there. I have wrote a very important phrase right here, Shaker, on my booklet from which I was studying that today. I want to
Hmm.
share that.
Yeah.
Mary Morrissey said that, you got to obey the spirit rather than the conditions. I believe that is an absolutely phenomenal idea. Like we obey our circumstances, we obey our situations, we obey whatever is happening on the outside, and we let it disturb us in the inside. And understand it, when you are disturbed on the inside, everything will become messed up. And you will learn more about it from Shaker over the next 25 to 30 minutes, what law of obedience is all about. And then in the end, we'll show you how to make that U turn. So, Shaker, over to
Yeah.
you. Let's rock our audience.
Thank you so much, Agreed. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the U Turn, our brand new show. And today we will be talking about the law of obedience. Now, before I start talking about the law of obedience, I would like to take you to one of our previous episodes that we had done on the law of supply in our former show called the Free Coaching Hour. And in the law of supply, we learned that all the scientists, all the skilled people, all the engineers, they always had this faith in themselves that whatever project they are working on, whatever it is that they're trying to bring into fruition, the blueprint, the framework, everything, the tools, the resources, the raw materials, everything exists in this universe already. And they only have to attract a supply. But first, they must build a thought in their mind that whatever it is that they need, the supply is already there. The universe is waiting to give the supply to you, provided that you tune in your level of vibration to the level of the vibration of the person who can actually receive that supply and put it to good, productive use. Now, when we can do that, from there, we understand that we can construct our life, we can build our life any way we wanted to. We can create any products or services that we want to. We can be completely unique in our industry. We can work on any project that we want to. We can develop any skill set that we want to. And every day of our life, we should be spending it trying to polish our skill set so much so that, after a month, we actually astonish ourselves. Oh my God, I've grown so much in the last 30 days. So that's how we should be spending all our days, trying to polish our skill sets over and over and over again. With this, the author Raymond Holliwell writes, man should be a builder. And to him is given all the materials out of which to construct the kind of life he desires to live. He builds in wisdom or in ignorance, according to his obedience, according to his understanding of a divine law and the use of it in daily life. So we must mix understanding with obedience. If we study all the laws of the universe, if we study the human mind, and then in the end, we refuse to follow these laws, we are being we are not being obedient. And being obedient is one of the things that the universal law requires out of you so that you can go and reach your goal. You have to be obedient towards all the laws. And later we are going to see how everything in the universe is functioning according to exact mathematically precise laws. And we should also change our thinking according to the way the divine law intends for us to think, so that in our thinking, we can develop only thoughts of goodness and productiveness. And then, after a certain passage of time, our will be full of happiness and productiveness each and every moment of the day. And for that, understanding is not enough. Obedience must be coupled with it. It's only when we become obedient, it is only when we obey, when we decide to obey the laws, it's only then that we get into application. Before that, we really do not want to apply the laws in our life. For us, it's like, okay, I've read about that law, it's a great intellectual concept, and I would like to discuss it with my friends over a cup of coffee or something like that. But we refuse to, somehow subconsciously refuse to apply that law in our life. Why? Because we don't choose to be obedient. Now, this obedience is not like the obedience that you were taught when you were in kindergarten. This is not the obedience that you learn in high school or college or in your new job somewhere. This obedience is different. Nobody comes and teaches you or forces you to be obedient. Over here, obedient is absolutely your choice, because the more obedient you are, the faster you are going to get your results in exact proportion to your obedience. From here, let's move on with an understanding that every time we are going to write anything in our goal card, because goal card is something that we carry with us throughout the day, we read it as often as possible. Now, in this goal card, if we do not obey the laws of the universe, then reading the goal card over and over again throughout the day will not help us reach our goal. Every time you touch your goal card from today onwards, make sure that every time you touch it, you recall the word obedience in your mind. This will make sure that as soon as you get into the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you will know for yourself that you are working with the law of obedience automatically, and you will be rewarded with your goal in a short period of time. So For us, the students of the universal mind, the students of the human mind, what does the word obedience would mean to us from a spiritual point of view, where we have a clear cut explanation on why we should be following the law of obedience? For that, we need to understand what obedience is. The author defines obedience then is the governor of all movement, whether it be mechanical, literal, or spiritual. Think about the movement taking place mechanically, literally, and spiritually. There is a governor which is conducting all the movement in all of these three different planes, in all of these three different existences. This governor is following the law of obedience by default. For example, let's take the mechanical movement. Imagine a giant machine. That's the example Raymond Holliwell has given in this chapter. If we take the governor off the machine, will the machine be able to follow the laws of momentum, gravity, and other laws of physics to make the machine function properly? You and I know that it will not function at all. We have to put the governor right where it was and make sure that every other different part of the giant machine is connected to the governor, so the governor can control the different parts of the machine. And when we just press a button or when we just type in something on our keyboard, the machine takes the input and it does 10 to 15 things at the same time. It's following the law of obedience. Let us look at literal movement. Now, we all have certain figures in our life who we respect very much for being highly intellectual. We call them the intellectual giants. It's like you talk about your subject with them and they speak on that subject as if like they have been studying it for years and years. And sometimes it feels like they know just about everything in that subject. And that's why we become their fans. That's why we become their followers. Now, these intellectual giants, they are obediently following the laws of learning every day. What do I mean by that? They are, first of all, surrounding themselves with books related to their subject. They might be writing blogs regarding it. They might be, having different posts, posting different posts every day in social media regarding it. They are hanging around with people who are interested in studying that subject further. Maybe they are researching into it. Maybe they have so many questions unanswered in their specialized field. So as long as that intellectual giant keeps in touch with all the laws of learning, that intellectual giant will keep on growing every single day. And the reason why people call them intellectual giants is because they have followed obediently the laws of learning. Now, a person who is not interested in gathering new information, a person who doesn't want to specialize in any area or any field, a person who can just take about anything, anytime, and just do any job, any project, any time of the day without having a focus, without having a passion towards anything. Do you think these people would ever become intellectual giants? They would never, because they're not following the laws of learning. The laws of learning have their own specific set of principles and rules which we need to follow to become intellectual giants. Now, going through two of these illustrative examples, we can, in the same way, say that you and I, being students of the universal mind, we have to see law of obedience from a spiritual point of view, where nobody is forcing us to be obedient like in school or in college or in office. Over here, we are becoming obedient because of our understanding, because of our wisdom. We are consciously choosing to be obedient after getting the wisdom and the understanding. That's the difference. So when you become obedient to the laws, you have to first get the wisdom of the laws. Then you have to practice the laws. And then you slowly become obedient to all the laws of the universe. And whatever goal you set, you will confidently know from next time onwards that all I need to do is just be obedient to the laws of the universe. And I already have what I'm holding in my hand right now. Whatever is written on my goal card, it has already come about. That is obedience. The author says we are dependent entirely on obedience for our success or failure in this life. And then he goes on talking about business and obedience. Let's go and have a look into this. Raymond Holliwell says business is founded upon obedience. And as each member obeys the laws of commerce, he will succeed. It is only when man expands these laws by over speculation, wildcat schemes, inflated values, or lack of cooperative agency that he brings upon himself failures and causes bankruptcies and loss. All our problems in life are due in some measure to our obedience to the law of thought and its creator, God. Our difficulties have been in knowing what to obey and what not to obey. So, in this episode, Sukhveer and I are aiming that when you walk out of this show today, you will not be in a confusion on what it is that you would need to obey or what it is that you should not obey. Let's get it clear once and for all so that from today, we will clearly start applying the law of obedience with wisdom and understanding. So, as we can see, business is founded upon obedience. So, if you are an entrepreneur or if you're looking forward to have your own startup, you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to make sure that you have to be obedient to the laws of commerce if you want to function smoothly in your industry and have a global business. Earn the amount of income that you've always wanted to earn. How do we become obedient to the laws of commerce? First of all, we have to get rid of all of these things called the get rich quick schemes, the wildcat schemes, the over speculations. Get rid of all of these things. Making money the quick way is never ever a formula. The only formula to make money is to keep on expanding your skill sets each and every single day. Follow the laws of the universe in your thinking every single waking moment of the day. And all the money, all the tools, all the resources that you need will be automatically attracted to you when you level up in your vibration. So, in the laws of commerce, what you do is you cooperate with people. That is how you will be obedient to the laws of commerce. Instead of competing with other people in your industry, instead of trying to put them down, instead of trying to get on schemes where people can harass them or do something, we all know all the kind of dirty things that happen in various industries and business all over the world. But a true student of the laws of commerce will understand that competition is not something that needs to be practiced when you go deep inside your consciousness. From the depth of your consciousness, you can bring unique ideas, unique products, unique services, everything so unique that maybe your industry has not even heard about it. You can really be that unique, but you have to make a decision that you will be obedient to the laws, and only then, in turn, your subconscious mind, as a faithful servant, will serve you in such a way according to the exact proportion of your obedience and will bring to you all the ideas that will make you look really, really unique in your industry. You will become persuasive. You don't have to go with over speculation. You will speak to people and automatically a trust will develop. So try to become that kind of a person who obeys the laws of commerce, not someone who thinks that they are too smart to, trick other people, go against the laws of commerce, and yet make a lot of money, or as they say, mint money. So get rid of all those thoughts of, getting rich quickly overnight, or maybe, in just 30 days or something like that. Instead, go deep in your consciousness and see what are the patterns in your thinking that is stopping you from doing what you love to do, that is stopping you from earning the amount of money that you want to earn, that is stopping you from making your dream project a reality. You really have to go deep inside your consciousness and change everything over there. So if you're an entrepreneur, or if you want to be an entrepreneur, or if you already are an entrepreneur, and if you want to scale your business, you have to be obedient to the laws of commerce. The author gives an amazing example from nature, which explains to us further why we need to be obedient to the laws of the universe, and why, as entrepreneurs, we need to be obedient to the laws of commerce. In this example, Raymond Holliwell says, if in the winter, a young sprout attempts to break through the soil before season, Mother Nature destroys that sprout, drills it off, or freezes it out. Yet, at the same time, the very snow and ice that freeze the little unruly sprout serve as a blanket of warmth and protection to the other seedlings complying with her laws. So Mother Nature either freezes out or she protects you. That's exactly what the divine law does with you. It either freezes you out, disintegrates you, or it gives you a blanket, metaphorically speaking, to give you warmth and to protect you so that you can easily reach your goals. But that all depends on how obedient you are to the divine law, to all the laws of the universe. The example of Mother Nature over here trying to protect one seed and trying to destroy another seed, it's not that she's making a choice. Mother Nature is following the universal laws in exact proportion to the way things are happening around in nature. So if a seed is trying to sprout before season, Mother Nature freezes it out, reels it off. And at the same time, the other seedlings, which are trying to comply with the laws of the universe, the same ice, the same snow, serves as warmth and protection to those working with the law. So from nature, we learn that we need to be obedient to the laws in such a way that nature or the universal law, instead of freezing us out, would actually provide us with a warm blanket with protection so that we can easily, effortlessly work on our dreams and reach them. The author says, he who obeys the laws of nature and acts as her obedient servant later becomes the master and reaps a full harvest. Now, to become the master of your own life, to have all the conditions, circumstances, and environment met according to your expectations, what you need to do is you need to become a master of your life. And there's only one way in which you can become the master of your life, and that is through the law of obedience. You have to become an obedient servant to the law. So, in the beginning, you start out by being an obedient servant to the law. You study the laws, you practice them. You are going to have a little bit of difficult time letting go of your old belief system. Your old belief system is going to come up and give you all the reason, all the logic, everything, so that your new set of beliefs will not be installed in your memory. But that's exactly what you need to do. You don't need to fight, you need to replace, you need to be non-resistance. You need to keep on reading your goal card over and over again with the feeling that your wish has already been fulfilled. That's all you need to do in a very non-resistive way. And your subconscious mind will pick it up through the non-resistive way, and it will bring about your reality. Don't force things into being. They never come into being that way. Force, in fact, negates, and that's another law of the universe. So, to become the master of our life, we need to be obedient servants to the law. With passage of time, when we become really good servants, we will see that the more we serve the law, the more the law serves us. And according to the law of receiving, it always gives us more than what we wanted. So if you want to master your life, if you want to earn the amount of money that you want to earn, if you want to be in a relationship that you've always wanted to be in, if you want to be in perfect health, that's what you have always been imagining. So start following the law of obedience from today onwards. Become an obedient servant to the divine law, to all the natural laws of the universe, to the principles that are on which the laws are based. And only then will your life change. Slowly but surely you will become the master of your own life. So let no one take control of your life. Let no one teach you what obedience is. Now you understand what real obedience is from a spiritual point of view. So what you need to do is instead of going out and controlling your conditions, circumstances, or other people, or blaming them, what you need to do is go deep inside your own consciousness, into your own thinking, and see where in your consciousness you need to make a change. First, you need to become an obedient servant to the law. Serve the law day in and night out, and your goals will be accomplished. The author says the purpose of our lesson is to learn how we might properly choose and serve the law for our highest good. This is the purpose of studying the law of obedience, so that we can get everything in our life in highest good. It's like we are imagining something in a certain scale and thinking it's beautiful, and we're imagining this is mine, I already have it. When we actually have it, we feel way more happier than way back when we were trying to generate the feeling of our wish fulfilled. That's exactly how it happens every time. So we need to find a purpose in our life where we can serve the law on a daily basis. But what do we need to do while we are serving the law? How do we serve the law? How do we choose to serve it in such a way that whatever we need, we always get supplied with our highest good, getting more than what we expected? Here's what we need to do. The author teaches us, if we are to obey the spirit within us rather than the conditions about us, then the law requires us to first think things into existence from the within before we shall see them on the without. In a later part, the author says, as we obey the law, we humble our personal self to the divine self within us. We refuse to accept the outer appearances of things as being final and true, but we turn within and seek that which is as real and true as God. Over here, spirit within us is our very own consciousness. That's who we are. That is our concept of I am, which we have discussed in our previous videos as well. What do you say to yourself after you say I am, whether in a self talk or whether in public, announcing something to someone? If you're saying I'm not in good health right now, that is exactly what you're going to bring about in the future, because you're being obedient to the law by telling and informing the law that you are not healthy. And that's exactly what the law is going to give back to you, because the law is impersonal. It does not care about your feelings. It won't be able to, because it's impersonal. So it gives you back exactly what you had asked for it, whatever it is you were thinking, whatever it is you were deeply feeling back at that time. And the conditions about us, we need to understand that it is a residual outcome of our past thinking. So if you do not like the job that you're in, if you do not like the business that you're running right now, if you do not like the apartment that you're living in right now, if you do not like the car that you're driving right now, what you need to do is you need to bless everything that you have right now. Bless your apartment, bless your car, bless your business. And from here, blessing all these things will help you come into a mindset where you will generate ideas on how you can get out of these things effortlessly, easily, without being resistant. Remember, non resistance is our way if we are the true students of the universal laws. So, the conditions about us, we can change them anytime we want. The only thing we need to change is our concept of ourselves. We need to change something in the spirit within us. We need to change something in our consciousness. We cannot blame anyone for whatever is happening in our life. It is always us. We attract everything into our life every single moment. Now, the action that we need to do is we need to bring things into existence from the within. How do we do that? We actually close our eyes in our meditation session or in a prayer session, or even while you're writing affirmations. What we need to do is we need to think that our goals have already been accomplished. If you think in this form, if you generate the feeling of your wish already being fulfilled, you are practicing to become an obedient servant to the law every time you practice this. And with the passage of time, being an obedient servant of the law, you will finally become the master of your life when one after the other, all your goals will be met. This year, you want to have a certain amount of income. Start obeying the natural laws of the universe. And by the end of this year, you will have that income. That will bring about confidence in you, which will help you to put your wisdom again into application with obedience, with which you can set a larger goal for 2022, and then for 2023, 24, and so on. So that's exactly how we take the U-turn today. And that's exactly how we change something in our consciousness. We must be obedient to the natural laws of the universe. And remember, this obedience is not coming out of force. This obedience is not coming out of someone else's command. This obedience is coming from within us, from inside of us, only after getting a wisdom and understanding of the law of obedience. So that's all I have for today for you. I hope you have understood what the law of obedience is. I hope you understood a little bit about the law of supply that I talked about in the beginning. If you have any problems in understanding the law of supply, you can switch to one of our previous episodes where Sukhveer and I talked about the law of supply, so that you can get a better understanding of the law of obedience. And I hope that you have understood that nobody is forcing you to be obedient. It is only through your understanding, through your wisdom, through your application, that you're finally understanding that you need to be obedient to the laws. Because whether it's the laws of physics, whether it's the laws of learning, or the spiritual laws, everything has a movement, and every movement is obeying the laws of the universe by default. It's only in our mind that we can think against the laws. We can think whatever we choose to think, and most of the time we are thinking not what we choose to think, but what someone told us, or how things are going like this, or how bad other things are in our life. So we need to get rid of all those thinking. We need to practice the law of sacrifice over here, disciplining ourselves to think things that will only help us expand our business. This is where we are becoming obedient servants of the law. And with passage of time, as I've said earlier, we will slowly become the master of our life. So the only way to master everything in your life, to the only way to hold everything in your life intact, to have control over everything, first step is to follow the law of obedience by becoming an obedient servant of the divine law. And everything is yours. All your business goals, all your health goals, all your relationship goals, everything will be accomplished. But you need to be in the feeling that it has already been accomplished. That's how you see a goal card. That's how you write your goal card. And that's exactly what you should feel when you touch your goal card anytime during the day. So that's all I have for you today. And I hope you are going to take some value from today's episode. And I also hope and I pray that you start applying the law of obedience right now onwards. Make a decision out of wisdom, out of understanding, that tonight onwards, you will be an obedient servant to the law. And slowly you will come, maybe after a week, a month, a couple of months. And in the comment section down below, just write how you are slowly becoming the master of your own life progressively. Thank you. Over to you, Sukhveer.
Awesome. Wonderful, Shekhar. I was looking on, YouTube. There are people who are really loving the session, the way it was going on. And I
Thank
absolutely
you.
love the way, law of obedience. It's absolutely is, obey the spirit within you.
Yeah.
And when you obey the spirit within you, first of all, some people may ask a question that why I should obey my spirit, right? Or like what it is that. So you really need to ask yourself certain questions. And those questions are, do you believe that everything that happens on this planet that happens for a reason? Even if you don't believe it right now, I wanted you to assume that it is truth. And if you, based on this assumption, move forward in your life, you're going to realize that whatever has happened in your life so far, whatever has happened in the past, or whatever you want to happen in the future, it will all happen if you obey to the spirit. Now, I'm going to give you a brief illustration on the screen right now to give you some more reasons that why you should obey, or why you should trust this information, or why you should trust what we are sharing here with you. And to do so, I'm going to bring your attention back to our secret genie. And that secret genie is nothing else, but it is our own mind. Now, some of you who are familiar with this diagram, that's perfect. If you are not, guys, this is your mind. And there was a great doctor, Dr. Thurman Fleet, who was very much known for holistic healing. In 1934, he gave that diagram. He said, if we want to change our life, we got to understand the mind, because it's our mind that governs everything. So let this big circle represent your mind. And in personal development, there are two parts of our mind that are very important for us to understand. Now, although there are many parts of the mind, but in personal development, we pay attention to the two major parts. That is your conscious mind and subconscious mind. And right here, we have this circle called as a body. And then there is a new addition that we have here is this is your brain. But now let us come to the point which is very important right here. You know, as Shaker point out that we live on three planes of understanding. There is a spirit, you have intellect, and then there is a physical level. So what we are saying here is that you have to obey the spirit. It's like you gotta obey the spirit. Now, when we say the spirit, it is non-physical. You cannot see what is right there. You cannot even see that with your physical eyes, but you gotta see that with the inner eyes of understanding. And to see that with inner eyes of understanding, understand that being human being, you possess something that rest of the world does not possess, and that is your higher faculties. So what you really have to do right here is that using your higher faculties, you have to build an image of something exceptional that you want. And doing so, you have to reject the evidence of your senses. Your senses are going to drift you back towards your present results. Your senses are going to move you towards your circumstances and your situation. Your senses are going to tell you that, so Peer, Shaker, this is your reality. Your senses are going to tell you that you don't have enough money. Your senses are going to tell you that your health is not that much good. Your senses are going to tell you that your business is going down. Your senses are going to tell you all kind of bad reasons or all kind of bad things that are happening in your life right now. But irrespective of whatever those sensing are saying, this is the time when you got to obey the law of obedience. And the law of obedience say trust in spirit. That means using your higher faculties, you can tap into the no thing, and from that no thing, you can build a beautiful, marvelous image of what do you really want. And whenever we talk about what do you really want, understand that it's about what do you want, not what your mama wants you to be, not what your daddy wants you to be, not what your parents, your family, your spouse, your brother, your sister, your friends want you to be. It's about what do you really want. And then you got to incorporate all the other laws that we have studied. You got to incorporate the law of thinking, where you have to orderly think about what do you really want. You have to include the law of, the non-resistance, where you have to let go of all the reasons why you can't do it, and you have to allow yourself to flow freely. You have to understand the law of supply, where you have to trust that whatever has to happen will happen for you to achieve whatever you want to achieve. Trusting all the laws, obeying all those laws, you build that image, and then you start getting emotionally involved with that image. And understand that your subconscious mind right here, it cannot differentiate between what is real and what is imagined. That means any image that you get emotionally involved with will get planted into the part of your mind that is called as your subconscious mind. And when that image is planted right here in your subconscious mind, that becomes a burning desire. And that when that becomes a burning desire, it is going to transfer a signal to your brains, where new brain cells are going to be created. Those new brain cells are associated with the new image, with the new feeling. You know what's going to happen? That is going to move you into a wonderful, a marvelous vibration. That vibration is going to change the action, which is ultimately going to change the end results. But to really change those results, you got to trust the process. You got to stay with the process. You got to stay, you got to be obeying the spirit. And the spirit says that everything that you want, it's possible when you work with the law, not against the law. And to work with the law, you have to use your higher faculties. And when you start learning about your higher faculties, you can have an incredible life. And at our company, Human Potential and Growth, we believe in creating programs that help you to achieve whatever you want to achieve. And there are many things that we do in our company, and we have a very special program that is on higher faculties, and we call it Mind Magic Toolbox. And if any of you might be interested in knowing about that, you can reach out to us personally later on. We'll give you more information about it, and we'll let you know how to use those higher faculties so that you can start incorporating all the laws that you have been learning so far in this coaching hour and also in this U-turn show from last 4 weeks. And at the same time, there is a big announcement. Next week from 15th, we are running a virtual summit. In that virtual summit, we're going to talk about money. And before I tell you what more is there, I have a question. How many of you really want to learn how to earn big money in your life? I believe many of you want to learn about it. There is no question about it. I have read somewhere in a book, and I truly believe what was written over there. The author said that the people who have money, they want more money. And the people who do not have money, they want money. And that is an exceptional truth that the author has written here. And I absolutely loved it. And I believe we need money to make our life more comfortable. We need money so that we can live the life the way we want to live it. And if you want to learn about money, if you want to know about how to earn money, if you want to know about how to actually earn money while doing what you love to do, I encourage you and I invite you to our virtual summit starting from next week. We will share a link later on in the description of the video. And in case you want the link, reach out to me personally or reach out to our Facebook page. We'll share the links with you about that virtual summit, where I and Shekhar are going to give you the laws and give you the secrets to earn money. And before we leave, I want you to keep in your mind that you got to obey spirit, obey the inside out model, where you don't obey the circumstances, you don't obey what's happening outside, you obey the law that everything is possible if you set your mind to achieve it. And that is possible through using, integrating all the other laws. It all starts from the law of thinking to the law of supply to the law of non-resistance and many other laws, law of forgiveness, law of sacrifice. Everything that we have covered so far, they all boils down to the law of obedience. And when you follow all these laws, then you achieve success, which will be the next topic of our next U-turn show, which will be happening in after a break of 1 week. Next week we will be busy in the virtual summit, so make sure that you be there in the virtual summit, sign up for the virtual summit, because it is not going to cost you a lot of, it is going to cost you what you already spend on many other things. So make sure you invest it into your own mind, at least for the next week. So in the end, thank you so much, Shaker, for really very beautifully demonstrating the law to our audience. And I'm super excited for the virtual summit because we have very beautiful content prepared for them, right? And before we
Yeah.
leave, Shaker, why somebody should sign up for the virtual summit? Can you tell them a little bit about it? Like why they
Oh,
should?
uh, first of all, in these 7 days, we have, segregated the content in such a way that we will start expanding your mind from day one by giving you little pieces of information in the right time, so that you take just one piece of information or two pieces of information every day and you keep on practicing it throughout the day. And next day, when you come for the virtual summit, you will be able to understand day two better only if you've practiced what we taught you on day one. So, in this way, progressively within a week, we can show you practically where you will demonstrate it to yourself how you can substantially expand your mind within just 1 week, only if you choose to be obedient to the laws of the universe. So it's like
Absolutely.
7 days progressively expanding.
Absolutely. And I'm super excited because this is the first time when I'm doing something for like over 7 days. This virtual summit is going to be absolutely sensational. And everybody who has signed up, I'm looking forward for the transformation, for the awareness they are going to receive while being in that virtual summit. So once again, thank you so much, Shekhar. And I'll see you next week in the virtual summit. And we'll see everybody back here on the U-turn in 1 week's time from now. So everybody, thank you so much for being here. Make sure that you let other people know about the U-turn show. Don't keep it a secret to you. Share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it with anybody and everybody you can share with, because today we are living in a social age. You can put up a status right now on your Facebook, on your WhatsApp, that I'm joining a wonderful show where great information is being shared, because it doesn't cost you anything to share good information. We all share jokes, we all share all kind of news on our WhatsApps. Let's share some positivity and prosperity with everybody. So thank you, Shekhar. I'll see you next week.
Thank you, Sukhveer. Thank you, everyone.